Welcome to the first annual Daily JG Live. It's December 23rd, 2010. We're just 2 days away from Christmas. I hope you're getting all your last second shopping done. I know Christmas shopping is not my forte. And this year, to be honest, I took the easy way out. I had other people do my shopping for me, I'm pretty sure I'd rather watch a women's college basketball game than have to go to the mall and buy presents, for your cousins and your grandparents. It's just the whole thing's just a mess for me. I wouldn't even know what to buy myself for Christmas, let alone, a female cousin. It's a total gong show the second I walk into that mall. Um, but I'm glad my mom, my dad were able to help me out a little bit. So really, all I did was walk around the mall eating Auntie Anne's pretzels the whole time, and I can't say I'm disappointed about that. But let's get right into it. Let's talk. Where else would we start besides the Rex Ryan foot fetish? I mean, let's be honest. Are you surprised by this? Because I'm certainly not. Rex Ryan is just that big, fat, slobby guy. Um, he just has foot fetish written all over him. If you would have popped the question to me before these videos were released that Rex Ryan had a foot fetish, I would have agreed 100%. I would have said, yeah, this guy is definitely a guy that I could see, having those types of fetishes. His wife's a pretty attractive woman too. She's probably in her 50s or something. But good old Rex having a foot fetish, it just adds to that whole, Jets, prima donna. They always have that little side story. It seems like they had that side story all season. Whether it was Hard Knocks at the beginning or Rex Ryan calling out the Patriots, now Rex Ryan's foot fetish. You know, this team just has so many distractions going on, and most of them come from their head coach. You just gotta sit back and think. If this team actually had a coach, like a Belichick, like a Bill Cowher, what could they be capable of doing? I'm starting to think that maybe Rex, is holding this team, holding them back a little bit. Um, will the Jets ever fire him? Probably not. But I mean, this is a team that most thought would probably be the favorite, not just in the AFC, but the favorite to win the Super Bowl. And to be quite honest, they're not living up to the hype so far. I mean, I know they stand with the 10-4 record, which is good at this point, and they will make the playoffs. But think about all those games where they pulled them out late, against the Browns, against the Lions, games that they should have won easily, and it turned out they probably actually should have lost those games. I mean, I know the Lions game, for example, if the Lions actually, don't commit a 15-yard personal foul penalty at the end of the game, or actually run the ball on a 3rd and short with around 2 minutes left to play, the Lions win that game. The Jets are 9-5 right now, and they're probably going to miss out on the playoffs. But instead, the Jets sucked out, were able to win those games, which is good for them. People always say the good teams find a way to win. I don't know if that's the case with the Jets this season. I think they found ways to win, but they're not that good of a team. I'm just not sold on the Jets, and I think it all comes back to Rex Ryan. I think this guy's beginning to be a major distraction, both during games and off the field, in the locker room, during press conferences, whatever he does in his personal life with his wife, taking pictures and rubbing her feet. I don't know. It's pretty sick to me. But that's really all I have to say about it. Like I said, I'm not surprised that Rex Ryan, did these things. But I mean, like I said, it's his life. He can do whatever he wants. Um, yeah. Let's close the book. I'm sick and tired of talking about Rex Ryan and the Jets. Let's move on to Boise State. Boise State finished off a 12-1 season last night by beating Utah. Boise didn't play too well in the game, but they were able to, control the ball and pick up a pretty easy win. First thing about this is, look, I know the bowl games are all, predetermined by like a formula or whatever you want to call it, where the Mountain West number one team plays the WAC number one and so on and so forth. I think they need to think about changing this. I mean, you take a Boise team who is a field goal away, from playing in a BCS game. They get upset. They finish 11-1, and now all of a sudden they're playing in a bowl game before Christmas Day against Utah. I mean, now nothing against Utah, but this Boise team could have been playing at Ohio State. They could have been playing at Wisconsin. They could have been playing at Stanford. But instead, this one loss dropped them so far down in the bowls. Why not have an exception rule, where if something like this happens, you can match them up with an Alabama or you can match them up with a Florida. That's what people want to see. They don't want to see these Boise versus Utah pre-Christmas Day bowl matchup. I mean, we want it, whether Boise's undefeated or whether they have one loss, we still want to see them play major conference teams. And this was the second year in a row, that the college football world, took that away from us. Last year they played a BCS game and they're playing freaking TCU. I mean, I don't know. It seems to me like maybe there is a conspiracy against these non-AQ schools. But looking forward to next year, I think Boise. I mean, their schedule is going to be a cakewalk. They should be able to finish out. As you all know, they're moving to the Mountain West, which now is actually turning out not to be a good move. Before you had them join the Mountain West and they would have been with Utah, but now Utah's going to the Pac-12. They could have been there with TCU, but now TCU's going to the Big East. And they could have been there with BYU, but now BYU is becoming a Division I independent. So now the conference switch might actually hurt Boise. The Mountain West might actually be weaker than what the WAC was. And, poor Boise. The Big 12 doesn't want them, obviously. The Pac-10 wasn't interested. So what are they supposed to do? It's almost like they're just trapped and will forever be a non-AQ school. I was thinking, why not become a Division I independent? Become an independent. This way you can schedule, 12 open games, no conference games. You can schedule some very good teams. And I'm not even talking about powerhouse. I'm not even talking about Texas's and Alabama's. I'm talking even middle of the road teams like a Texas Tech, like an Ole Miss, teams like that. Just so they can prove, that they can beat these teams that win 7 or 8 games in major conferences. But as far as next year, Boise will have an excellent chance. Kellen Moore will probably be the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. They'll have an easy schedule, as I mentioned before. They should be able to go 12-0. And maybe next year will be the year that Boise finally breaks the BCS. Welcome to the first annual Daily JG Live. It's December 23rd.